My dear Kat, welcome. And I would love to know more about you. Who is Kat? Why are you so special to me?
Who am I? That's a good question.
I know.
Well, I am a 40-year-old California girl living in Germany. I've been here almost 5 years.
Wow.
I grew up in San Francisco, which I think in a way shaped my personality in a bit.
Yep.
Because it's a very liberal, accepting, anything goes kind of city. And that's kind of how I grew up and how I feel as a person. So it's a very different atmosphere than where I am now. You know this because you also lived in Germany.
Correct, in
So
Düsseldorf.
it's strange to go from a city that's very accepting and very eclectic and so many different races and religions and cultures to going to a predominantly white city.
You have an amazing job in basically teaching like all kinds of Pilates. What did I forget? Yeah. I mean,
my
you have great.
has always, it's always been fitness related. So I started as a competitive gymnast, and I also took ballet and dance and these kinds of classes. And I did this throughout my entire youth. And when I graduated college, I stopped all of that. I just gave up fitness. I was very unhealthy at the time. University in America is very stressful. You know this, you went there.
Yeah.
It's very, very expensive. And so as soon as you graduate, you automatically have to start working, and you take anything you can get, whether it's something you love or something you're passionate about or not. And it wasn't for me. I took a behind the desk job. I worked for Wells Fargo Bank for 5 years, and then I worked for Cisco Systems for 5 years. Wow. And both of these jobs were just in a cubicle, fluorescent lighting, bad food because you're stressed throughout the day. You're constantly eating on the go, fast food, this and that. And what drew me back to fitness was I gained a lot of weight.
Okay, yeah.
I gained a lot of weight, and I was just tired and just feeling like I was much older than I was. Aww. And at the time I was eating vegetarian, but I didn't know that much about dairy and how it affects your body. And I was consuming dairy constantly. I had really, really bad skin. I had acne everywhere. I had it even on my back. It was awful. And I spent thousands of dollars trying to remove the acne, taking prescription meds. And finally, I started dating a guy who his family owned a dairy farm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
And so I'm in this horrible situation. I have Crohn's disease. I'm getting surgery after surgery. My skin is a mess. I can't figure out what's wrong with
this is something, sorry to interrupt you, but this is something I want to know a little bit more about. Like, you know, all this like history of like surgeries and also Crohn's disease. When you were diagnosed with Crohn's disease, how old were you at that time?
Oh,
do you remember?
So
I mean, this is bad memories.
Like most medicine, most experts, it takes a while for them to diagnose you, especially as a female. I think when we go into the doctor, especially as a female, they listen to our symptoms and they always think we're exaggerating the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
This is very common. And so I had horrible stomach pain. I had bloating. I had the bad skin. I was tired all the time. And this went on for about 2 years. And then finally, what ended up happening is I had so much pain. I went to the doctor and they said, yeah, just go home. You're just bloated. You have gas. And they gave me these like gas pills. And it got really, really bad. And I ended up passing out from the pain. And when I was married at the time, and no, we weren't married yet, but my ex found me passed out, called the ambulance. they took me to the hospital and they still didn't know what was going on. Then they said, oh, your appendix has burst. We have to take you in for emergency surgery. And so they took me into surgery, and it wasn't until I woke up that they figured out what was actually wrong with me. So when I woke up, the surgeon came in and she said, okay, we removed your appendix, but it wasn't your appendix. Once I opened you up, I figured out that you have diverticular disease and Crohn's disease. So we had to remove some of your intestines, put it back together, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, well, what's going on? Because there's something that's wrong with me. I feel bad all the time. Will the surgery help? And she said, okay, the surgery will help, but you're going to be on prednisone for the rest of your life to manage this. And I thought, I don't want to be on prednisone. I don't want to be on steroids the rest of my life. And so I was already having issues with dairy. Like I said, I was dating this dairy farmer previously to my ex-husband, and he he owned a bunch of these happy cow farms where they give their milks to Whole Foods and Sprouts and all these like bio markets. Yeah. And we toured the facility one day, and I was so ignorant back then. I really believed that there were such thing as milking cows. I think a lot of people I've heard this from where cows just produce milk. I was young. I was in my 20s. I was like, oh yeah, the cows produce milk and you have to milk them because otherwise they're going to be in pain. I didn't know that they actually artificially inseminate these cows, make them carry their baby full term, let them give birth, and then steal the milk that's meant for their babies. So once I toured this facility and he's explaining to me how they do things, and the worst part is how they come and take the calves. They come and take the calves almost immediately after giving birth. And then some of the dairy cows don't even make it past that. They die of what I'm assuming grief, because he says that they lose a lot of the cows. Oh, and it's not like they just lose the cows and they make a burial for them. They throw them in a pile, and then a truck comes along, grabs them, and takes them away. And I asked them, well, where do they take them? Oh, they make dog food out of them or something. And I'm thinking, what? And this was a happy cow farm. They had organic, certified, all this stuff. Yeah. And so I thought, I really don't want to be a part of this. Like, I have to stop dairy. So I was already kind of winging myself off of it because it's very addictive. You know this.
Oh, yes. Like a heroin.
The more you the more you consume, the more you want. So I had to wing myself off of it like a drug. And at this time I had slowly winged myself off. And I was dating my ex-husband at the time after I broke up with this guy. And I'm leaving the hospital and I'm feeling great because at the hospital, they fasted me for 1 week. So for 1 week, I only was able to have water and ice chips. And when I left, I had lost a ton of weight. I felt amazing. And they tell me right away I have to be on steroids. So I thought, like we all think, maybe I should get a second opinion. And I ended up going to the UC San Francisco and seeing a gastroenterologist specialist. And she said, okay, Kat, I'm going to tell you something, and most people aren't going to do this. If you do it, great. If you don't, you don't. She says, you have to give up dairy completely. You have to go completely vegan. She says, if you go completely vegan, not only will you cure your Crohn's disease, but you'll also cure your diverticular disease. And if you look up these diseases, they'll say they're not curable. Wow. They'll say you have them your whole life. And so I thought, okay, well, let's give it a shot. So I finally winged myself off the dairy. And after about a week, I really started to feel amazing. My stomach went flat. My acne started clearing up. And this was someone who's using creams and stuff that are thousands of dollars on my face.
I know.
And now I use the cheapest thing I can find at the drugstore because I always have amazing skin. Vegans have amazing skin. It's like you don't have to do anything really. Yep. And I was so upset after this. I thought, how could I be going to all these dermatologists and all these doctors and they're telling me to take this and take that and put this on and put that on. And all they had to say was stop eating dairy.
Yeah.
Or become vegan.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. I had no idea that if making that little switch from vegetarian to vegan would make such a huge difference. And it really, really does.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet people who are vegetarian and they say, I don't feel healthy or I'm not getting enough vitamins, it's because the dairy is taking that away. It's taking the vitamins away.
It's pulling calcium out of the bones and all that stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's funny that they say that it builds your bones because it does the complete opposite.
Correct.
When I was vegetarian, I broke my ankle in 3 places. I broke my wrist. And now I'm vegan. I do everything. I'm 40 years old. I run in the forest. I'm a fitness trainer. I teach sometimes 6 classes a day.
I know.
Never have an injury.
You are like a superpower. I tried your classes. I couldn't. But no, like, I have to tell you, so this is an amazing story. I mean, and this is testimonial basically that hopefully inspires so many people that are struggling with Crohn's or any kind of digestive issues or issues. But I would love to also stress something that I tried a lot of yoga teachers. And you are probably the best yoga teacher I ever encountered in my life. And I tried a lot of them, okay? And I'm talking about from New York City to Düsseldorf to, you know, everywhere, in Slovenia, everywhere. So I want to just say, like, it's incredible. And like, hopefully we can add some clip at the end of you showing a little bit some of your moves, like with the breathing and everything. How you make people comfortable when you teaching them, you know, and, you know, like, yeah, I couldn't walk later, right? After your Pilates, I believe, or what did we have? And not Pilates, what did we do?
We did bar.
Yeah, oh my God, that was like,
that's a hard one. It's intense for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I came for the first time last you know, but you give so much power. You really pump us up, you know. And then later I'm like, damn, this was like intense. I can't walk and I have a lot of energy. Yeah, you know, and I have a lot of energy, right? Incredible. Yeah. But like, your classes are, you're so energetic. You give so much, like the breathing, you pay attention to everybody, you know, like you talk to everybody, you focus on everybody, and then you focus on the individual. And the same with yoga, you know, like I really miss you. I have to tell you now, Barcelona is waiting for you. But yeah. So
I think because I've taken so much yoga, I've been taking yoga since I was a child. And in at the school I went to, they actually provide yoga for children. You can do it during your lunch break. Yeah, it's like a 30-minute session. I think this is pretty common in California because California has a lot of yoga. And for me, I've taken all the different forms and I've kind of just combined them together. I just used what I like from each one and kind of put it into one little cat yoga.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And I think it's important for people not to view yoga as something that you're good at or something that you could be good at. There's no such thing as being good at yoga. Yoga is yoga and everyone is good at it, you know. You don't want to come into it thinking I want to do this amazing dancer pose or I want to look like this, or it's not like that at all. You basically, yoga is all about getting in touch with your body and your mind. So having them work together and using your breath to get you into deeper postures. So I think it's important for people not to be hard on themselves. If they're in a posture, sometimes one day you'll be in a pigeon pose and you'll be nice and deep, and other days you can barely manage it. That's just the way it is, and you can't be hard on yourself. The most important part is the breath. It's all about the breathing. Yeah, the breathing. The postures come after.
So one thing, like I had like a hip damages and like and certain limitations. And this is something like, you know, a lot of people, when you talk about yoga, they think, oh, these crazy postures, I can't do this, I can't do that. You have all this, like everybody has certain limitations, right? Yeah. But you really make it so easy to do, and you understand the limitations and you work with the person through the breath that I haven't ever, in like how you were able to do this, like deep yoga and talk to a person and focus on their breathing even. This is I haven't encountered anything like that.
Thank you.
So like I really recommend trying you out. Like this is like
thank you.
Yeah, I hope you're going to put online a lot of these classes and these things.
Oh yeah, and I made a little 5-minute one for you.
Excellent. I love it. Thank you so much. So I can actually do it every day following you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think for a yoga instructor, the most important thing is to get people to find their mind-body connection. That's the hardest part. It's not about, you know, Instagram photos or these crazy looking postures, but just to get someone to put their body and their mind together. And then once they have their mind-body connection, they can get into postures that they might not necessarily have been able to before.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all stiff, especially the older we get. The more we do yoga, the more our muscles are supple. You know, you're lengthening your body, your spine is healthy. It's just so good. I really think if you're going to do anything as far as exercising, walking and yoga is the best. I mean, I know I teach crazy stuff like HIIT and bar and slides and stuff, but seriously, yoga and walking will do wonders for you. You know this.
Yeah, I mean, you're a real athlete. I mean, I believe you even won the awards, right, from your gymnastics.
Yeah.
And so on.
And yoga has really helped heal old injuries. I mean, especially people who have never done anything in their lives. Starting with yoga is a great way to just move.
Yeah, but you need a good teacher. Like, for instance, you know, I had like a couple of teachers that are like pushing me into these poses and do this, you know, and also didn't instruct me about the breathing, and I felt really like, you know,
because the more your body tenses, the more it doesn't want to get into the posture, and that's going to create an injury. It's really about trying to relax into the posture.
Yeah, and another thing is like, for instance, like my mom, right? Like I tried to do yoga with her, and like for her, she has so many limitations. For instance, you know, like I mean, she's almost 70, but she wants to try, you know. And when it comes to when you're showing me and how you are treating the whole approach to yoga, it's just like somebody like her can enjoy that, doesn't feel like something's wrong with them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really like this. So Kat, let's talk about a little bit now the new topic, which is basically dog rescues. And you are one of the people who I adore because you're such an amazing dog rescue, and you always take the underdogs like myself, you know, the problematic ones. So I want to ask you a little bit, like I met you when I had like basically a pit bull mix from New York City that I adopted her from New York City. And you had like your first bull terrier that you adopted from Mexico, I believe, right?
Yeah. She was a former bait dog in Mexico.
Yeah. A lot of problems. You had to put a lot of like her skin was not okay.
Yeah.
And we lost them pretty much like with like, I think 1 year difference.
Yeah.
Right? Which is so sad. And we didn't get like, you know, vet care. It's really hard to find like a good vet.
Yeah, especially here. And it's hard to find vets here that are accepting of this breed.
Right. And this is something I wanted to talk to you about. Because I feel, you know, moving to Germany, first of all, we had for our Trinity, you know, we had for her, we paid like this 600 euro thing, you know, that you paid, which is basically taxes for Kampfhund or fighting dogs. Then we paid insurance for her, almost 550, I think, something like that. And then also we did this test with her. And, you know, that was also, I think, 450. So you get like a card that your dog is friendly and doesn't hurt anyone.
And it doesn't have to wear a muzzle. If you don't take the test, then all of the dogs
have to have
these certain breeds have to wear a muzzle, whether they are aggressive or not.
Right. And the thing is like that makes them more aggressive. I mean, imagine.
Absolutely.
And with the mask, now that we're walking around with mask, you know, that you don't see a person if they're smiling at you. So you kind of stay away from them.
Yeah. No one's going to approach a dog with a muzzle on.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they think something's wrong with them. Right.
Right away, it makes it look dangerous.
Right. And this discrimination is very, very intense in Germany. Like,
oh yeah, it's
like in New
super
York.
prevalent here.
Yeah.
I never understood. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, you lived in America. In
Yeah.
America, bully breeds and pit breeds, they're our dogs. They're American dogs.
They're American dogs. Exactly.
We love them.
Yeah.
When I rescued Alice, I had her in San Diego for about 2 years before we moved here. And she was loved by everyone. And she was a very loving dog. You remember this. Yes. I mean, she greeted everyone. She wouldn't hurt a fly. She loved babies. She loved cats. She loved every animal and every person that came across her. And she was such a happy girl in San Diego because everyone we passed, lots of love, lots of hugs, you know, everything like this. And so it was really a shock to me when we came over here and got the complete opposite of what we were receiving in America. First, I had no idea that I wasn't even allowed to bring her. So they were already very upset with me for bringing her here.
Yeah, leave your dog behind, you know, like leave your child behind. That doesn't work with us. We're not doing that.
They don't want these dogs here at all.
Yeah.
And when you do come, you have to jump through hoops. Like you said, you have to pay 600 euros a year. You have to take a special test. Every person who handles the dog has to take a test. Right. So if I was to get a dog sitter, they would also have to have this handler test, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Yeah. So, oh wait, I'm getting a low battery signal. So let me just move over here.
Yeah, plug it in.
And plug it in.
Yeah.
And
so my thing was basically after you pay, sorry to interrupt you, but like after you pay all that and you go through all that,
everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, everything will be great, right? People will be nice to you and, you know, you did all your things that you had to do. But that's when the problems start, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like...
Before I knew you, I was there alone with the Trinity. And the first experience that completely blew me off, like completely, I was like, what the heck is this? Some guy, I go to the work, I have the Trinity with me, I almost said Gloria. I had Trinity with me and go to work and some guy just passes by and says to me, das ist ein schmutzig Hund, and spits at me. You know, so this is dirty dog and spits at me. And starts yelling at me something, I don't know what kind, I didn't understand like so much, you know, I don't understand like a German when somebody's like really with accent and really like hard, like talking so fast.
They talk really fast.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? And I thought, just crazy dude. But this happened again. Keep happening. Random people would come to me and tell me this is dangerous dog, or they would lift up the kids away. Or, you know, we would sit in a restaurant and all of a sudden, like, police would come and, like, start bothering us like that.
I've had the police called on me several times.
Yeah, and for no reason.
Every time the dog was asleep, Alice was asleep underneath the table and the police would show up.
It's
because
insane.
People would call it on. I think the rules as far as the paying the taxes and having the insurance and all that was one thing. But it wasn't as bad as how you're treated socially. You're treated
like a criminal,
total outcast, like you're a criminal. I was called a Nazi several times for having this dog. I had people kick her when she walked by. I had a man kick her when she walked by and call her Kampfhund.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've been spit on before.
Yeah.
And I think the worst part is the way that they view them. They don't view them, even if you show them, look, this is my dog, I'm kissing her on the face, she's wagging her tail, she's a very happy girl. It doesn't matter if you give them physical proof, because in their minds, they believe that these dogs are born aggressive. They're born, they call them baby killers, they call them all kinds of crazy names. Which is funny because we call them nanny dogs.
And the thing is, like, there's no science covering this, and for
Germany, not at all. And if you look at the bite statistics here in Germany, the most bites are coming from the German Shepherd, the Shepherd.
Correct. Correct. And they're really aggressive. I've been attacked. I've been attacked walking. Basically, I've been attacked by a freaking German Shepherd, actually like grabbed me for her neck. And the woman was like, oh, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, they act like it's no big deal.
Yeah, but like imagine that one of our dogs that is completely like trained in big cities, you know, like Trinity was in Central Park all the time with like 300 dogs and all kinds of people and other pit bulls and all this stuff, you know, and then they tell you like, oh, this is dangerous dog. I had like this was so sad, because to me it's like, you know how it is, like we don't have children, so this is our children. Imagine this is like this dog racism. It's almost like, imagine you have like a black child, you know, like Asian roots child that you rescued from very bad situation, and now somebody is trying to really abuse them and attack them and attacks you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I never expected that.
Really hard. Germany is already a cold kind of country as far as socially.
Hard place. Yeah.
It's hard to meet people. It's hard to make friends. And then when you're just walking the street with your dog, just trying to have a nice day, and you're constantly berated, you're constantly looked down upon, or people always have something horrible to say. You never have people say, oh my God, look at your dog, can I pet her, or anything like that. It's always like, you don't belong in Deutschland, these dogs don't belong in Deutschland. And the worst thing is, the dogs that end up in the shelters here that are part of these breeds, they don't want you to adopt.
Exactly.
Because after my Alice passed away, I went looking for more pits and more bullies, and they would tell me that they're not available for adoption. So these dogs end up living their lives in a shelter just because of their breed. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a dog racism. This is
it totally is. They want you to adopt any dog with these. They don't want these dogs here, and they constantly are feeding information into the children as well. Because I've actually had children come up to me. Oh, sorry, with my little mini bull now. And say, oh yeah, my teacher told me that these dogs are very dangerous and that they'll bite you and they'll attack you and this and that. So even as a small child, they're getting fed this misinformation. There's no statistics, there's no stats saying that having these dogs on this special list is preventing people from getting dog bites. I mean, for example, my dog was attacked by a boxer last week. She got bit in the face, she got bit in the tail. And after the boxer attacked her, the lady looked at me and said, well, those dogs are aggressive, so that's what she deserves.
Oh my God. And I thought she was just playing by herself, and this boxer came and
attacked her.
Yeah.
But of course, you know this, even after they gave me the licensing, the Ordnungsamt told me, okay, well, if you're walking your dog and another dog attacks it and your dog defends itself, your dog is going to be the one that gets into trouble, and you're going to be in trouble because you are carrying a dangerous dog.
And how did you listen, how did you even found like your new dog, right? The Lily, can you show the beautiful, she's gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so this dog was another one they tried to talk me out of. So I found her at a shelter in Bremen, which is in the north. And I was looking around at shelters, and there was a bull terrier lady that said, okay, there is a mini bull at this shelter, but it's not listed on the website because they say she's aggressive. All the bull terriers, they say they're aggressive, they're not supposed to be adopted, blah, blah, blah. I've never met an aggressive bull terrier in my life. I've never met an aggressive pit in my life.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you what, I had a German Shepherd when I was a teenager, and she was insane.
Oops.
And I know a lot of Chihuahuas and Dachshunds that are crazy too. But regardless, no dog is born aggressive. You have to train a dog to be this way.
It's people. Yeah, it's always people.
Absolutely.
It's never a dog, yeah. So how did you find Lily then eventually? How did you get her out?
So I went to Bremen. So I drove up there and I said, look, I want to see the bull terrier, the mini bull terrier, and
they said, no, let's show you these other dogs. And I said, no, I really only came here for this dog. And they said, well, you know, she's lived here her whole life. She was born deaf, so she's been in the shelter for 2.5 years.
Jesus.
And we wouldn't recommend you adopting her because she's very aggressive. She doesn't get along with other dogs, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I just asked to see her. Mm-hmm. And they took me to this little cage, and inside she was laying there, and she had a muzzle on inside her.
In the cage, in the shelter.
Yes. Yeah.
This is
and
criminal.
I looked at her, and on her nose, she had like black marks.
Yeah, damages from a muzzle.
Yeah, damage from the muzzle. They kept her in a muzzle 24/7. So I didn't even care at this point what she was like. I told them to open the cage, and I said, how much is the adoption fee? And I think they said like 300 euros. And I said, here's 300 euros. Give me her papers. We're leaving.
Let's go. Yeah.
And so they said, okay. So they give me the papers. I take the muzzle off. I throw the muzzle back in the cage. They freak out.
Oh, shoot. That's cat. That's cat spirit. That's a California spirit. We're free.
Yeah, run free.
Yeah.
I get down on the ground. She starts licking my face.
Oh, my God.
And they're all looking like they're shocked because they never even gave this dog the opportunity to show them how much love she has. They never even gave her the opportunity to show that she's a
They never
dog.
took off the muzzle. She lived with the muzzle.
Never.
This should be illegal. This should be illegal.
You can still see, I've had her almost a year, and you can still see she has a bit of damage from this muzzle.
It's much better. I remember that's
it looks much better now.
Yeah. Can you show us? Is she sleeping somewhere around?
Yeah.
Where is this monster that is a love bubble?
There she is.
Oh, sweetie. And she's deaf, but she basically, you communicate. How do you communicate with her? Hi, Lily. Hi.
We do hand signals.
Oh my goodness. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I taught her some hand signals, and she communicates really well with facial expressions, except right now, not so much because we have to wear the mask. So she's a little confused with people with masks on.
Now you are muzzled too.
Yeah, now we've got muzzled.
We are the pit bulls now and the bullies in general.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, this world is like crazy. I mean, this is such an amazing story. She's gorgeous. And I know then, you discovered that she's not only, was it like you told me that they advise you that you have a muzzle on her at night so she wouldn't.
Oh yeah. So then they actually called me. They called me later that night. They gave me all this information. Don't do this. Don't do that. She can't do this. She can't do that. And one of the funny things was they said, okay, don't let her sleep in your bed or she'll attack you while you're asleep.
Oh my God.
And you know what I did? I sent them back a picture of us sleeping together.
Yes, love it.
And they were like, they couldn't even believe it. And I actually still send them lots of pictures of her, like playing with other dogs and on our holidays and stuff like this, because I really just want to show them that if another bull terrier ends up at your shelter, this is what they're like. I mean, I never had a bully before I met Alice, and I seriously think they're the most gentle dogs I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're looked at as this fight dog and this aggressive baby killing dog here in Germany is really upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, the worst is actually in Denmark, right? In Denmark, they kill them immediately. I know that. Like, I was in
Hamburg, and we were gonna go take the ferry across, and my friend said, "Don't take your dog there. If you land in Denmark and they see you walking the street, they will confiscate your dog and take her to the shelter and put her down."
This is insane. And like based again, and this is amazing because like, we think like, Germans are educated. They're
that's what I was thinking. It's this like amazing, they have a great economy. They have a great social
system.
Yeah. And yet they're so ignorant when it comes to these dogs, and they really make you feel like you're a criminal for owning one.
Yeah.
That's
And I mean, look at us. Like, do I look like a criminal? You look a criminal. We're like really, you know, and both of us are educated. You know, both of us we didn't come to Germany to, you know, steal the money or something. We came basically we are improving their country. But I feel that in general, Germany does have a problem with assimilation.
That's true.
And I mean, and like, think about it, like with masters and educated and traveled and everything, I don't know how then simple people can assimilate, you know?
Oh, I have a friend that's been living here for almost 12 years and she's Polish, and she says she never will feel like she fits in here. Never.
I just don't understand, because like I came to New York City as a young girl,
and you were totally accepted from the start.
6 months, I felt this is my home. 7 years, I was so happy there. I fell in love with US. I mean, probably in city, right? Because it's such an exciting place, but also like Americans are just such I don't know, so welcoming, and it's so different. And what's happening now to me is a shock, because I didn't, you know, I know there's systemic racism, and I agree that's not fair to throw that out. But like, you know, I never felt like that. Like my besties were like all kinds of places, you know. Also at work, we were all connected. I would never even notice skin color or like who is from where. We all had accents. We were all like a mixture of all kinds of things, you know. So this is what's happening really sad to me. And I mean, hopefully people, like, something is dividing us, right? Something is dividing us. And when you look at it, it doesn't matter who's the president at the end. It doesn't matter, because it's about corporations and army and elitists running the whole show. And I don't know why people don't understand that they want us divided. They want us to be
absolutely
and they want us to eat bad stuff so we're not aware and awoke, you know.
Totally.
Like I'm so happy, you know, like that we met each other. I mean, you know, I thought actually that it's something wrong with me and my dog, right? Because
I felt like this too. It was so hard for me here. And they really make it hard for you. They make it hard for you when you're from anywhere and not born here. But then when you have these kinds of dogs, it's even worse. And they discriminate against you, not only in social life, but also if you want to rent apartments. I could never get an apartment because as soon as they asked me the breed of my dog, they immediately would stop. And actually, this sounds really bad, but I was told a lot of times when I applied for apartments that I couldn't have the apartment because I wasn't a nationally born citizen. So they didn't even want non-Germans in the building.
Wow, wait a minute. Even if you said you had deposit, you had deposit and everything. And I mean, your last name is Miller, and like I have German roots.
That's one thing. They'll see my last name and then they're like, oh, okay. And then when they get to talking to me, they're like, oh, wait, you're not from here. And that's when it goes bad. So either you're discriminated against your dog or your nationality.
And it's interesting because both of us are basically have German roots, you know.
Totally. I mean, we look like them.
We look like them, and we're like, you know, we look like them. This is what's incredible. I mean, my husband did not have such experiences. Like they didn't even dare to talk to him. You know, he didn't.
It was the same with my ex-husband. When he was out with the dog, they never bothered him.
Which is crazy.
For some reason, when you're female, they think that they can say anything they want to you. Even when I'm not with my dog, I'm constantly policed by other Germans. They'll say things. I mean, I've been called out for having my earpods on while I'm on my bike or crossing the street without a crosswalk. They constantly police each other, but they constantly police young women, I think. It's always old men. Always old men are policing me, telling me what to do like I'm their child or something. It's really frustrating. It happens to me almost daily.
It happened to me a couple of times too. You know, I mean, at work, no, because at work I had like a high position and I had people underneath me and I was really good at what I does, you know, and like we come basically from environment where work ethics, I mean, American work ethics.
High. Work.
and we will sacrifice a lot, and they're not used to it even, but and they respect us in that way. But when it comes to like private interactions, I mean, I lived with 9 years in Düsseldorf. Beside you, I don't think I had like maybe 2 friends, but it's more acquaintances, older ladies who actually liked my dog. Oh my God, look at that little mouse. It's a mouse. It's a piggy mouse. Right? Yeah. It's adorable. I mean, these dogs look like, I don't know. This is one of my favorite breeds.
I love them. I know. Yeah. I was so happy to meet you because I was really in a bad place, and I'm a happy, sunny California girl. And when I got here in the first 6 months, it was like a dark cloud was on top of me because I didn't even want to leave my house to walk the dog because I knew what was waiting for me out there.
Yeah, it's scary.
Evil looks, people saying horrible things to me. Maybe I get kicked. Maybe someone throws something at me. I mean, this is insane, but it's real.
Yeah, and nobody, my husband even wouldn't believe me that that's what's happening, that I'm not doing anything. Dog is not doing anything. I mean, Trinity was basically a therapy dog in New York.
Yeah.
Then you come to Germany and you're constantly like, oh, you have to have her on a leash, you have to have this. And I'm walking and nobody's around, and just somebody just comes and tells me like, you got to go away with this dog. And it's like mile away, nobody's around.
No one.
I'm like, what is going on? And we lived in the fanciest area of the city. We pay a lot of money for our apartments. We have good jobs. We're good citizens. We are not criminals, the opposite, I would say. So this was really tough. And, thank you so much for sharing this. And like, I was
so glad to meet you, because at that point I thought, oh my gosh, I want to leave this place. But then you reached out to me, and you had Trinity, who was like half pit, half terrier, amazing dog. And I thought, okay, well, at least there's one other person here that knows what I'm talking through.
That you're not basically crazy.
And walking with you and feeling like normal again really, really helped. It
really, to me too. I think this goes both.
Such a sweet, sweet dog. They all are.
And
it made me so sad to think of how horrible they were treated while they were here.
Yeah, I feel, I don't know how you feel, but I definitely feel that this negativity really influenced her.
The health. I think so too. Absolutely. I absolutely think
because I remember in Central Park, Trinity would run around, and just like some child would just run into her and just squeeze her and start giving her kisses. And she's like, but she reacted she never ever hurt anybody. And then, and losing them, it was really one of the hardest things, like we're so connected with them, and it was really tough. But, I mean, how are you doing now? Is it like, okay, or?
It's a little better because technically the miniatures are not on the list, but people still confuse them. I would say with Alice, with my standard bull, 90% of the interactions I had were negative. And with her, I'd say maybe 60%.
Okay.
And sometimes people, since she's smaller, they're more likely to ask me questions. I mean, I've been in the dog park before, and we run around together because nobody enters the dog park when we're in there.
Yeah.
And I finally had a lady come in with her dog, and she said, I've walked by 6 times and I've seen you 6 times, and I was always afraid to come in here, but I watched you guys interacting with each other, and I thought, okay, maybe this dog's okay. And then she finally came in, and at that point I said, you know what? I'm glad you finally came in, because now you can see for yourself. Dogs are not born bad. They're not born aggressive. The fact that they have this law, which is completely outdated, it's from like 2001 or something.
Yeah.
The fact that they have this law just makes it seem like they are bad when they're not. So if we could change the legislation, I think this would help a lot. And the media perception. Because if a German Shepherd attacks or bites someone, you never hear about it. If a bully breed or a pit breed bites someone, it's all over the news. Crazy dog attacks. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, you do have like a couple of people. I know like there was like some instance like about maybe 3 years ago before we left even Germany, that there was like some woman who was beating and torturing and raping the dog pit bull and up all the time. And then once she forgot and the dog attacked her, and then some of the animal rights activists in Germany did go and try and fight for this dog, but of course she finished up killed, you know? I mean, you know, and these are the cases where you have like a dangerous dog. It's always people, you know, and also Trinity got attacked by some dog that was like with a circus that came like this, you know, in the Oberkassel.
Yeah.
And I was like, the dog just came and grabbed her, and you could tell that this dog was trained to kill.
Yeah.
You know? And luckily Charlie was with me, my husband was with me, and just grabbed her and like threw her away. And then Trinity was okay. But like Trinity's like, oh my God, I never experienced anything like that. And she's a coyote in a freaking Central Park once. You know what I mean? Awesome. Central Park is amazing. Like New York City is incredible place. And
it's like two different worlds here.
yeah. But anyways, my cat, like I can't wait to share this clip next. And I want to wish you like a beautiful Sunday evening with Lily. And we miss you horribly. And we're hoping you're going to move to Spain.
I know. I really hope so. It's hard to get in there.
I'm keeping my fingers and everything crossed and everything. I mean, the thing is that, you know, I think here is way better regarding these dogs, especially, you know, like Gloria is even like damaged, you know, like she reacts to other dogs. She's amazing with kids. She's amazing with people. But when it comes to other dogs, I think she was tortured and starved. Of course, she had like 6 kilos. Now she has like 24. And, you know, we could use some friends again. We could use some friends again. You know,
it's funny though, if you had like a Chihuahua, for example, or a Dachshund or something, and it reacts to another dog, no one bats an eyelash.
Nothing.
But if it's a pit or a bully, everyone freaks out. It's so weird. Like, come on, you guys.
Like even here, it's not.
I get that all the time. A dog but you'll get like, I'll be walking Lily and dogs will be barking at her, going crazy, and she ignores them, and maybe she does a little growl, and everyone just looks. And I thought, what about these guys?
What about those guys, right? I mean, here I can tell you we have to pay taxes, and we have to file like a special license for having this dog. And by law, they have to have a muzzle on all the time, which is, again, I don't know why. I mean, you know what I don't understand? These decisions about discriminating these dogs were not based on science. They're not based on statistics. They're based on, I don't know, like looking for scapegoat. You know, I did in Germany at some point, I was so upset and so sad about this that I was thinking that I'm going to get like a little star, yellow star, put it on me and put it on my dog so they get the point.
That's how you feel.
Okay. Yes.
That's how you feel. I mean, most people, they go walk their dogs to relax and enjoy the beautiful weather. But for you, as soon as you leave the house, it's like, okay, here we go. You know something's going to happen. You know someone's going to say something horrible to you. Yeah,
it's almost like even with our spirit being really, you know, high fruit eaters, and vegetable eaters and vegans, you know, and very positive people. Despite the fact you start to get this fear, I didn't feel safe almost, you know.
Yeah, totally.
I was always waiting, where's something going to come at me? You know, and I was the happiest when nobody's around, right? Like I would go in like really weird times for a walk and avoid everybody and go somewhere really wild. I mean, people don't understand like how hard it is. And I don't know why, you know, and also Denmark, they need to look into this because it's really, you know,
because it's like night and day. We can cross the border into Holland. In fact, we used to go, when I had Alice, I went to Holland as much as possible. As soon as you cross over that border, it's like another world. They love the dog. They're feeding the dog. The babies are coming up and rubbing the dog. It's
totally different.
Yeah, it's just right over the border.
I mean, Düsseldorf is like 2 hours away from Amsterdam, and I think every second weekend we go and pay the most expensive hotel in Amsterdam. We could have our dogs in there, and it was completely different. Trinity was loved. Again, they would take pictures of her and all this stuff.
It's like a celebrity.
Like a celebrity. You're thinking like, am I crazy or what is going on here?
No.
There's
something that they need to change here. They need to change it in the media, in the legislation, and what they're teaching the children.
Yeah.
Because the children are growing up learning this falsehood about this breed. It's really sad. And then I feel bad for all the ones that are living in the shelter right now. They're going to live their whole lives in the shelter. Yeah, they'll never have a family.
Yeah, and also this problem with the shelters. How can you run a shelter and discriminate certain dogs and even if the person and don't even check? They don't even check if there's a
no behavioral test, nothing. Just throw them in the cage and put the muzzle on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not okay. This should be illegal. This is like
I know. I agree. I think it's animal abuse. It absolutely is. Yeah.
And look at this like little rabbit over there sleeping. She didn't even move. Oh, she gets excited when you do yoga, right? Then she starts doing
yoga.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna post. We gotta show this. Okay, my dear. Beautiful evening. I wish you're amazing.
So
I love you very much.
I love you too.
Incredible friend.
Soul sister.
Exactly. Suffering soul sister.
Yeah.
But I really hope and pray every day that our lives come back together and you know, that we can make this world so much better. I mean, only your health experience and this, it's like incredible. You could inspire so much people, you know, to get better and heal. And then of course, I think like everybody who comes, for instance, you know, expats, I mean, quality of life is amazing in Germany, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
It
you
is.
have to grow some thick skin.
You gotta, but you know, you were incredible. Like you're really good with like collecting friends. And I was like a socialite in New York City.
Yeah, but this is I think it has to do with my profession. If I wasn't in the fitness industry and meeting people constantly, it would have been the same for me. It would have been the same for me as you, because I have other people here who work from home and they having the same experience as you're having. Where they're not meeting people. It's hard to meet people. People don't just chit chat here. You don't stand in line at the grocery store and chat like you do in America.
Yeah, you don't.
And they think you're quite crazy if you say good morning to them or good night to them. Yeah. So it's really hard to meet people. The only reason I've been able to build a solid group is from working, is from my job.
Correct.
Otherwise, I would be in the same position.
Yeah, and me too, actually. Yeah, me too. When I was working still at the agency, advertising agencies, like it was easier. Yeah, exactly. And they're lovely people and they're very intelligent and like the lifestyle is incredible. I mean, lifestyle in European Union is incredible. And it's more like, you know, it's more like about family and they give you time and you have all this like social things that really help you have great time, you know, and also like easier with children, easier with free medical insurance, easier with
you work
paternity. Yeah, I mean, you know, like go and look around US where you're going to find a bunch of like men with babies hanging out because
I know, right?
It's like, and here it's like, it's incredible. But yeah, I think if I was at some point, I was saying like, we have to like steal all the like cool Americans and bring them to Europe.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like I say, I love the country, but the people can be
they can be difficult. I agree. But then it's again 5% that are incredible. This is
absolutely. Yeah, there's some German people that are the most amazing friends I've ever had.
Yeah, we gotta like, you gotta wait and find them somehow or something.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I mean,
we
love you and we're sending you a lot of kisses and hugs and we'll talk again soon. Okay?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Bye, gorgeous.
Bye, gorgeous.
Hey guys, so I'm just going to show you a quick little 5-minute yoga routine. I like to do this one either in the morning, right after I wake up, or in the evening before I go to bed, or in the midday if you just want to get a nice little stretch going. So to start, we just come to the mat into a child's pose. So open the knees as wide as your mat, big toes connect. And then you're going to set your forehead to the mat, rest your head down, and take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. When you inhale, you're going to open up the belly. When you exhale, you're going to pull the belly back towards your spine. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we slowly walk the hands up. Taking the hands directly under your shoulders, you're going to lift your glutes off your heels and take your knees right underneath your hips.
Then we take an inhale, we drop the belly for a cow pose. Exhale, round the back for a cat pose. One more, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale, lower. Exhale, round. Now, if you sit at the computer a lot, it's very important to try this with a reverse grip. So fingertips towards knees, and we'll stretch out the wrist and forearms. So we inhale, let the belly lower. We exhale, round the spine. One more, inhale. And exhale. Then flatten out the back. And try to reverse your fingertips forward very gently. We tuck our toes under for a down dog. So I like to walk the dog out first, so bending one knee, then the other. And then when you're ready, both heels try to press towards the mat, chest towards toes, belly button towards your inner thighs, lengthen through the shoulders, push into those fingertips. Then take an inhale, right leg up. And on your exhale, take the foot right between the hands and carefully set your knee down. You're going to look over your right shoulder and carefully bend the knee. Sometimes the right hand is able to connect to your fingertip or toes. You can always use a strap here if you need and hook the toes. And then try to bring your elbow up to the ceiling and push your left hip bone down at the same time. And take another inhale, and on your exhale, release it. Take your arms up to the ceiling. Push your left hip forward. Take your right hand down and reach your left arm to your right. So you're making a little half moon here. Then we inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, elbow to the thigh. Push your palms together for a nice twist in your low back. You want to try to bring your prayer as close to your heart center as you can and try to release the belly from the leg. Then we slowly unwind and take the hands to the inside of the foot. Let your right knee open to the side and see if your left elbow can come down. If the left one can come down, try for the right and hold for 3 breaths. And the right hand comes back down, left hand comes down. The knee taps the shoulder and the shoulder goes over the knee. Then we inhale, push forward, and on your exhale, we're going to try to straighten the right leg, flexing the foot, lengthen through the top of the head, through your tailbone, and try to connect the belly towards the thigh till you feel a hamstring stretch. Then carefully press forward, tuck your left toes under, inhale, straighten the leg. On your exhale, we step back for our down dog. And this time our left leg lifts. We set the foot right between the hands. We carefully set the knee to the mat. Look over the left shoulder, bend your knee towards you. Maybe the left hand can connect to the toes. And if so, you're going to pull the heel in and the elbow up. You're going to totally open that left chest. Good. And then release. Square your hips forward. Take your inhale. On your exhale, arms by ears. Left hand comes down to support us. Right hand reaches to the left for a half moon. And then we inhale, lengthen to the ceiling. Exhale, elbow to that thigh. Press your palms to a prayer. And we try to bring that prayer as close to the heart center as we can, pulling the belly away from the leg. Then carefully unwind. Take the hands to the inside of the foot. Let the knee open slightly. Maybe the right elbow can come down. Maybe the left elbow can come down. Then you're just going to hold and breathe for 4 breaths. And then left hand goes down, right hand goes down, knee taps the shoulder, shoulder goes over your knee. Take your inhale. On your exhale, straighten out that left leg as much as you can. Lengthen through your spine and connect your belly towards the quad. And then you're going to carefully lean forward, bend the knee, tuck the toes, straighten the leg, take an inhale. On your exhale, step back, downward dog. Go ahead and walk the dog out for 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to walk the feet forward and sit on your booty as gently as you can. Take your feet forward and carefully lie yourself down. We're going to take right knee towards our chest, left leg long. Right arm goes to the side, palm down. And the left arm guides the knee to your left. So you have a nice little twist here.
And then the shoulder, or the chin rather, goes over your right shoulder. And we carefully unwind to switch sides. Left knee comes in, right leg goes straight, left arm to the side. You're going to guide the knee to your right. And then we take the chin over the left shoulder. And come back to center. Take your feet to the ceiling. Bring your knees to your shoulders and flex your feet. You're either going to grab the outside of the feet or the inside, whatever's most comfortable. Make sure your spine is flat on the mat and gently rock yourself side to side, just massaging out the backbone for 3, 2, 1. And then carefully bring those knees together. We're going to massage the spine in the opposite direction. So chin to chest, we rock up and down the spine for 3, 2, 1. Rocking up to seated. And then I just like to cross the legs comfortably and grab a little bit of energy. Taking a big inhale, arms up. Exhale, pull that energy right into the heart center. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull in. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hold this one in for 3, 2, 1. And that completes our 5-minute series. Namaste.